Little touch and go there for a second. Meghan, it wasn't feeling great. Felt like kind of a continuation from game one after that first period. Look, I said it at the first intermission. That was one of the worst periods I've seen the Avs play in the last 2 years, going back to the start of last season. But they hit the locker room. Meghan, something changed because that was the Avalanche group we're used to seeing.
Certainly, and it wasn't an immediate effect at the start of the second, but they absolutely started better going into the second and built upon it, and that's what gave you confidence that what was building was sustainable and like what the Avalanche group we have come to know is supposed to look like.
Good habits. It was just good habits, and I think that was the most frustrating part for me watching that game one, and then this first period tonight. It was just silly mistakes and giving the puck away and just doing things like you said that we just don't expect out of this Avalanche group. Bad, silly mistakes, but let's talk about it a little bit. I thought the building played a big part in this, right? We joke all the time, fans, they don't affect the outcome of the game. I thought they stayed in it. I thought the building was loud, and I tweeted, the Avs need to give the building something to go on here because they've stuck in this game. Less than 2 minutes after I send that tweet, the Avs score 2 goals in less than a minute of game time. I thought that just really kind of flipped the entire game. Artturi Lehkonen starts it off. I thought he was fantastic tonight.
Absolutely, he played a big, so one of the things the Avs needed to correct from game one was being heavier on the forecheck. They were struggling to get puck touches in the first game, and so they not only needed to sustain more zone pressure, but when they would dump the puck in, they needed to win some of those battles, and Lehkonen was a huge part in actually winning some of these puck battles and applying more pressure and extended zone time, which gave them some more opportunities, because in that first period, they struggled to get in between home plate. Seattle kept them pretty clean out of it, and that became huge and pivotal, and why the face-off win, too, from McKinnon on that Artturi Lehkonen goal is so important. I know we don't like to narrow in on face-offs too much, but when you are struggling for possession, O-zone face-offs absolutely matter.
We talk about it all the time. Face-offs maybe as a whole are kind of a weird stat, but situationally they're huge, and I'm with you. That was huge. Artturi Lehkonen, like you said, getting below the goal line, winning puck battles, but then also just, I love what you just called out there, getting to the home plate area, getting in front of Philipp Grubauer, making his life more difficult. I thought Philipp Grubauer, while he was good in game one, his life was way too easy, and it was more the same in the first period. Meghan, I was really impressed with the Avs' response in this one because it would have been really easy for them to kind of crumble after not getting the start that we all expected them to get after a really bad game one. I thought periods 2 and 3 were really impressive.
It looked like their confidence built because they were building towards it at the start of the second, and then finally after that initial Lehkonen goal, you could see the game turn on its head. They were both playing with a high level of physicality that demanded a lot of either side, but the Avs looked more dangerous after that too in terms of what they were creating, and that wore Grubauer down and tested him more than they did in game one, and I think that's what makes the Devon Toews goal at the end of this, the game-winning goal, possible, is they needed to make Grubauer's life difficult, like you said.
And they did that, and then the 2 guys that I thought you really, really needed in this one, given the way that Seattle played game one, and just kind of this style of hockey the Avs are in, were Artturi Lehkonen and Val Nichushkin. Jared Bednar said after the game, that was old school Val. That was the Val that we saw last year. I thought both those guys were great and did everything they needed to, and wouldn't you know it, they're the 2 that kick off the scoring for the Avs before Devon Toews wins it in third.
Absolutely. We've been talking about Val Nichushkin earning a higher spot in a shootout rotation somewhere down the line, and his hands tonight, that was an incredible, just a skater in all alone with space on Grubauer. Also was a big part in why this game shifted in an even more intense direction.
We've talked a lot about the guys that made a difference on the offensive side of the puck for the Avs. They don't even get to a position where they can come back in this game without Alexander Georgiev. He gave up 2 in the first period, locked it down from there. I thought he was outstanding. 2 huge saves to end both the first and second period. The second period one, post to post on a 3-on-1. The Avs don't even have a chance to get back in this game if not for Georgiev. We have to show some goalie love.
Absolutely, because even when this game did shift in a better direction for the Avalanche, Seattle was still competitive, and it was a lot of back and forth dangerous chances created by Seattle as well. Georgiev didn't really have a moment of reprieve, and so he was tested from start to finish, and a big part in why they were able to win.
Big part in why they were able to win. Avs have to scratch and claw their way out of this one, but they do get the win 3-2, even up the series. Deep breath, everyone. We're going 1-1 to Seattle. The Avs, I think, feel good about tonight, and it was a nice reminder. This is what Avalanche hockey can look like. Meghan, I think if they bring that same effort in Seattle, I think they're going to give themselves a really good chance to win at least one, if not both games. I will be in Seattle, so keep an eye out for everything we'll bring you there, but Avs take this one 3-2. in a thriller, even up this series 1-1. Boom.